Okay, with all the movements out of the way, here's some things you can do to augment the movements to make them harder and make them more effective. Okay, so what I like to do for air squats to help get better hip for medial glute drive, I like to put these bands on and spread out. Okay, these are A, really good for warming up for heavier squats, and B, it's just really good for developing that medial glute, help alleviate back pain, build hip stability, all that. So what you do is you get the band, you can put it right on your knees, put it over your knees, it's fine. This band's not very strong, so right on my knees doesn't bother me. And you're basically trying to screw your feet into the floor, okay? So imagine my feet are down and they're pressing out, and you see the band tries to pull my knees in, and I have to fight it. Okay, now you can squat down, and while you're squatting, keep that outward tension on those knees, and you'll feel it putting more pressure on that medial glute, more tension. And over time, that'll help your squat, like I said, help build stability in that joint. Okay, more strength, and you use more of your glute that way. Okay, another thing, actually, if you want to do just for a warm-up, you can use this band too. You can do these side steps. Okay, try and go nice and slow. You can do monster walks, which is you step forward and out. Okay, forward and out. And that's the same thing, it's help building that medial glute. Okay. And another one I like to do is you get into a low squat and hold that squat and then just do side steps. Okay, and that'll help build quad, glute, hamstring, all around. It'll help build your squat. And then, these are really cheap, by the way. You can get them online for like 20 bucks. If you want to band some of these movements, you can band your squat. Now, this applies for anything that you get into this position for. So the squat or the RDO. Okay. So for the squat, it just adds a little bit of resistance. Make that movement a little more challenging. Get a little more load and volume out of it. Okay. The other thing you can use this for is those RDLs. So if you're using your hands up or hands over the head, it just adds extra tension to the RDL. Just make it a little more effective. And then a regression from those split squats. If you don't want to do your rear foot elevated, you can do, well, for starters, you can do, just both feet on the ground. Just take a step back and kneel down, okay? Just try and make sure you're still loading on that leg. The other option is to use a lower platform so that you're not so high up. So if you have a step stool, which I'm sure you do because you're like 4 feet tall, you can just use a step stool. Get a little, make it a little easier. Another thing, regression. If you don't want to do the split squat at all because your balance sucks, you can do step ups on a step stool, okay? And so you're still using that just one leg. You're just, instead of reaching out and trying to balance that way, you can just hang that foot there. So you're still loading on one leg, you're still getting a similar movement pattern, it's just a little easier.